not fully belonging. This is the nature of being an expatriate. I don't pretend to be someone I'm not. I tried to appear French my first year living in France, and it didn't last. I'm an American living in France. My husband and I never know where we're going to be living a year from now, and thus we can't plan our future. I have no idea how long we'll stay in any one place, but I'm enjoying it. I've never felt more present in my life. It's lonely being an expatriate, but it's also exciting. What I've realized living in France is that to truly feel a sense of belonging, of being in the inside, you need to share a history with others, childhood memories or school friends. This is the bond that links one another and creates family. Exile in a beautiful place is still an exile. Loneliness is something I don't see as often talked about in living an expat life. When we think of France, of living on a beautiful island like Corsica, it sounds like an absolute dream. It appears idyllic. But there is a dark side, an honesty to life in France as an expat. Corsica, the island that I live on, is wild, untamed, and natural. This wide, expansive place is beautiful and connecting. I'm an introvert, and so I really thrive being alone for most of my day. But I do love people. I love communicating with people. I love one-on-one interaction, deep discussions on philosophy and spirituality and God, things that require a native proficiency in language, or at least an advanced level. There are times when I wonder if it was worth it. There are days when I want to give up and go back home to where my friends are, where my community is. But I realize how this loneliness allows for empty space. Missing out on your friends' life milestones is probably the hardest thing about living in France. I don't have much family. I don't feel connected to my family, but my friends are my family, and there are things that you miss out on when you live so far away. Phone calls and emails and voice memos can't bridge that. You miss out on your best friend's wedding. You don't know your friend's children, and you miss out on the daily intricacies of their lives, and they don't know yours. This is natural and inevitable, and it happens over a period of years. But it's sad. This is what the romanticization of France doesn't show. Traveling the world and living abroad is not for everyone. Living in different places, moving all the time, saying goodbye to your friends and family, it's very difficult. And for those who highly value being close to family, this is a serious sacrifice that one has to make. For my husband and I, we value life experiences and adventure and travel more than a lot of other things in our life, and so we take that risk. But that doesn't mean it's not hard, or that it doesn't come with sacrifices. Living on an island in a foreign country, surrounded by wild nature, forces you to confront some things. It forces you to look at your fears directly in the eye. It forces you to get clear on what you value and what's really important to you. In the city, we can distract ourselves with shopping, entertainment, and a myriad of options and variety of things to do. But when you live isolated in nature, you can't numb yourself. You can't distract yourself from all the things vying for your attention. Nature asks you to go within. Nature confronts you in seeking your own inner truth before looking outside. This is one of the many gifts that nature offers us. It asks us to go slow. It asks us to live simply. And it asks us to check in with our inner voice first before anything else. It's really important that I mention that Corsica is not French. It's its own complete culture, and they have their own language on the island. The mountain villages are very quiet. The inhabitants are mostly enjoying a retirement, and young Corsicans often move to mainland France in order to get a better education and jobs. There is a depopulation in the mountains, and it's linked to the declining importance of agriculture. Going back to the earth is the way forward. Living in Corsica, surrounded by nature and isolated, and yes, at times very lonely, has given me things that I wouldn't have learned otherwise. But I know that agriculture, increased simplicity, going back to the earth is the future. It's doing what our ancestors used to do, growing our food by the phases of the moon, following the natural rhythms of the earth. This is where I believe where we're heading in the years to come. Living in Corsica while lonely and isolating has provided me a foundation and a clear reminder of what's really important and what's important to planet Earth.